When the world needed him the most, he disappeared. Guys, it might actually be over. Katsuhiro Harada, I cannot believe that you have gone and done this to us. Katsuhiro Harada, what did we do to deserve this? You have left us in a bed filled with bedbugs and rodents.
But we ain't stressing anything, it's the purple everything, it's the purple
Blowing up his phone, I know I'm tripping.
The only man that could save us from the Fire Nation just kicked the bucket, bro. Harada woke up one day and was like, no more 50-50. And just went back to bed, bro. I can't even blame the guy. Imagine going to work every single day and seeing the Katsu the Come engine and the Orc King sitting and waiting for you like some evil council, bro. Harada was done serving the dark side of the Force, fam. Before I lose my absolute mind on video, Harada, I just want to say thank you. You created my favorite game, and you are actually a drippy motherfucker. I cannot lie, you had hoes for real. And after 30 years, I respect the decision to leave. Harada, you created a game so peak that even in its darkest hours, there is still a player base sitting and waiting, begging for us to return to that. No matter how much bullshit you put into that game, the people remained patient. Truly, you created something special that made a lot of people happy. For myself, there was a time in my life that if I didn't have Tekken to play 6 hours a day, I might have just stuck 6 to 8 Tide Pods in my mouth and off myself. And Harada, truly, I thank you for creating Peak. However, in all honesty, guys, I think that it is extremely likely that Harada was either 1, fired from this company, or 2, heavily pushed to retire from the company, because Harada has been on record stating that he wants to work on Tekken 9. And even if we look at this post where he explains why he's stepping down, this still doesn't explain the timing to me, at least to me. What I personally really think happened here is Harada was pushing against where everyone else wanted this game to go. Harada had been stepping down for years. His role in the company kept changing, and originally that was probably for the purpose of eventually when he wanted to actually step down, he could leave this game in the hands of competent people. But when Season 2 dropped, Harada was one of the people who said he would be more directly involved in the game again to fix this. It seems like he didn't trust this stupid idiot on my screen right now to get the job done. Michael Murray is literally the youngest child who couldn't keep up with the pressures of his successful siblings and chose a life of drugs and bitchlessness. Like, unless we are just to take Harada as a chronic liar, which up until Tekken 8 I would have never described Harada as, there has to be some kind of outside force involved in this decision. Harada clearly wasn't in a real position of power in the company anymore. So it seems. And if he was indeed giving pushback, if I was to see this from a retarded executive lens, Harada would have more than likely been treated as a nuisance. There's a guy in the office that's really just like 50% the figurehead of the company at this point because of Michael Murray, and he's potentially creating a divide in the company. They probably thought they just had to let bro go. Like, having the guy who says, "Don't ask me for shit," it's pretty funny, right? But in the end of the day, funny shit isn't making money. And if the guy is creating some type of disruption, it's potentially losing you money in the long run. So yeah. Another thing could just be that Harada knew the game was cooked, saw he had no pull anymore, and just decided to quit. You can't even blame bro for that if that's really the case. Harada came out and said that they would fix Season 2 over the course of time with many patches. They did nothing of the sort. So, to me, it really does just look like Harada was someone Bandai Namco was using for damage control. In the anime Kaiju number 8, when they kill a Kaiju, they have to like clean up his dead body and like scoop his shit and stuff. And that's literally what Harada was for Anna and Merizo and all the other bullshit in this game. It doesn't seem like he had any real input whatsoever. If you are working for a company where you spent 30 years creating this product and now all of a sudden the game is bad and you're really not allowed to make changes, what is your purpose being there? Harada has already left the company once before because the game was shit and it went against Harada's vision in Tekken 4. And do you know what happened when these idiots actually decided to listen to Harada? Tekken 5, the biggest Tekken game. I have said this so many fucking times on this channel, but we no longer live in a time where you can force these kind of things anymore. Bigger companies are involved, shareholders need to be pleased, it's all very cringe. So I doubt Harada is doing a Tekken 4 again. Doing a Tekken 4 does not work in 2025. You just get ignored, bro. To these higher ups, you are just another worker, another stat on a spreadsheet, even if your name is Katsuhiro Harada. I am not expecting Harada to show up at Bandai again with an army of airbenders. I just don't see it, bro.
It's the purple
Blowing up his phone, I know I'm
Harada being gone is going to expose this game's flaws so hard now. It might actually be over, boys. Firstly, Harada's Twitter was the only bridge between the players and the development team. If we wanted to give feedback on the game, we had to go through Harada's Twitter. If we wanted to report a bug, we had to go through Harada's Twitter. And technically Michael Murray also shared this role. However, this incompetent company has allowed Michael Murray to block 95% of the player base, which is literally him just not doing his job. Like, I don't think enough people actually talk about this, yet he still has this role somehow. I imagine he gives better head than every single goal at Soapland. That's the only explanation I can think of as to why he still has his job. So when the players have a bug to report, how will they go about doing that if Michael Murray has the entire player base blocked and Harada is sipping sake in some mountain somewhere? Literally the only players Michael interacts with are fucking glue eaters who complement the size of King's man tits and then all have a circle jerk with Murray. If you cannot report bugs, your game is cooked. In a game of this size and complexity, it is literally impossible for a single dev team to find every little bug in the game. Impossible. It's hard enough to keep up with them even with players reporting them. This game will fucking die if they don't put a report button into the game. I will guarantee you that. And I will also guarantee you that they won't do this because they're fucking retards. With Harada gone, nobody, and I mean nobody, will give any fucks about anybody who represents this game anymore. I think most people believe that because Harada was still in office, he could still do something about the state of this game. With him being gone, nobody gives a fuck anymore. This game will die at the very latest end of season 3. None of the players give a fuck about Nakatsu. We especially give no fucks for Oily Michael. The blind faith in Harada that he may resolve this game's issues is now done. Gone. Done. Like, Harada was really the only person that would publicly speak on this game from Bandai that actually sounded like they were even bothered about keeping this game in some type of playable state and not leaning fully into the monkey 50-50 gameplay. Like, Michael Murray, who is supposed to be Harada's other half in this company, is out here hopping on Twitch chats joking about special effects like dudes would even find that funny. You can tell that this guy was a cornball growing up, bro. The actually emoji personified, bro. Nobody cares about these dudes. There is no relationship between the player base and the dev team anymore. Like, I have said this before, that this team is making games for monkeys now. Like, they're not making games for Tekken fans. But like, I always thought like Tekken 8 would be its own thing, like it would flop, cool, but we'd be back to somewhat Tekken in the next game. Well, it's not looking like that anymore, is it? Bandai Namco might actually be allergic to making good things at this point. Sparking Zero, mid. Mismanaged balancing. Bleach Rebirth of Souls, mismanaged ranked and gameplay. They're currently destroying Tekken's reputation. And things don't even stop at games. Everyone at this point has seen the One Punch Man anime. What are these guys doing? Why are they doing this? I am fairly certain that Tekken will get another game after Tekken 8. This game clearly hasn't sold as many copies as what was probably projected, otherwise they would release the numbers, but I don't think it's to an extent that you can call the game an inherent failure. People are still wasting their money on Guna skins in the Tekken store. People are still buying the DLCs. This game for now still has a reasonable sized player base. For me personally, even though Tekken is a fighting game and these are niche, I think this game should at least have doubled the player base for the amount of money that clearly went into the game, but that's just my opinion. This game, I would say, is doing okay, but it's never going to do Tekken 7 numbers, but it's still obviously the second most popular fighter. And when Virtua Fighter finally comes out, unless Bandai just decide decide to wrap up a legacy IP and just give away an entire market of 3D fighters, which they have had a chokehold on, then they probably want something better than Tekken 8 to combat their game. But I dread to think what Tekken 9 is going to look like. When I say literally anything could happen with Tekken 9, bro, the pattern that these games tend to follow is that usually if there is a mid to bad game, it's usually always followed up with one of the best games in the series. Tekken 2 to Tekken 3, Tekken 4 to Tekken 5, Tekken 6 to Tekken 7. Even though I don't think Tekken 6 is even bad like at all, but a lot of people don't rate it, but you see what I'm saying. So it would be safe to assume that Tekken 9 would be a good game, as Tekken 8 is quite possibly the worst mainline Tekken game ever. However, with Michael Murray and Nakatsu at the forefront of this game, this just became a coin flip, bro. And it's like a coin flip with one of those rigged coins too, that's like more likely to show heads than tails. I don't know what Tekken 9 could possibly look like. I don't even want to think about it, bro. Tekken 9 could legit be a gacha game. I'm being so for real. Like, you're going to have to pull Jin and shit, bro. I don't know, bro. Like, what is season 3 of Tekken even going to look like? Realistically, it's just going to be more of the same shit, but holy, bro, season 3 is going to be so cooked, man. For those of you who haven't figured it out yet, Modok is going to be in this season. They held out onto that cash cow for too long, bro. It's going to happen, and it's going to be AIDS. It's just, you guys, I gotta get off this video. I'm going to start dooming, bro. I'm out of here. Rest in peace, Harada.